All right. Welcome, everybody. You get me today. Welcome, everyone, to American Crypto Academy AMAs. I am Jahon. I'm the CEO of the American Crypto Academy. Happy to have you with us. We've been doing these every Tuesday for the most part for the last several months, and we've had some great projects on. We're happy to have another one here. We have the Blockchain Legal Institute. I'm joined here with Jackie. Alt-Mom couldn't make it today, but we're going to roll on forward. So we're happy to have Jackie, and we're happy to learn a little bit about BLI and what is happening sort of on the blockchain legal landscape because, well, there's plenty going on in the blockchain legal arena. So without further ado, thank you very much, Jackie. Welcome.
Hi, I'm really excited to be here. How are you doing today?
I'm doing fantastic. We've had this whole summer where it seems like a lot of regulatory talk and conversation was coming really to the forefront. So really happy to have you guys on now and to learn about what BLI has been doing. We're a dedicated partner of BLI as well, the American Crypto Academy. So give us sort of like the pitch, so to speak. What is BLI? How long has BLI been around? And what are you guys trying to do?
Yeah, no, I appreciate sharing with everyone who's on today what BLI is. The Blockchain Legal Institute actually is a centralized library of the decentralized resources that exist in our community. And we founded it about 2 months ago. So it's really new. My background's law, but I'm also in education. And I realized that as I've been learning about blockchain, cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, everything, DAOs, you name it, for the past 6 years, there's not one resource that exists which is central for individuals that are new to the space or that even have been around for a while to kind of find resources, both from a content perspective as well as from legal information. So that's the purpose of BLI, and it's expanding and growing, and it has verticals in every area you can possibly imagine.
I was looking, and we were talking before we went live on how in-depth and the amount of resources on the website. And let's get that up on the screen too for folks that want to check it out, bli.tools. Now, tell me about some of the groups and some of the other folks that are involved with BLI. I'd love to hear sort of the, more about the team and the partners.
Yeah, so we have been growing, nonstop for the past few months, and our partners are really diverse. We have, Bermuda is a government partner. We have the digital economic zone that's a partner. We have University of Wyoming, the Blockchain Center, who's a partner. We also have the Anti-Human Trafficking Intelligence Initiative. We're aligned with them. Again, the Government Blockchain Association is one of our major partners, along with GBBC is another association. So there's a lot more who are coming into, we have memorandums of understanding that are happening shortly. So there's a lot more that are going to be listed.
Now I'm just looking at all the different resources here, and one of the things that really kind of sticks out is the learn aspect. Can you talk a little bit about BLI's educational mission along with the resource aspect?
Yeah, so I'm an educator. I'm in special education, and I'm also an author of the Bitcoin Cinderella blockchain adventure series. And I knew that there needed to be a site that had access to a variety of resources for new individuals stepping into the space. And that's why we also wanted to partner with ACA, because of the fact that you have great content. And so we wanted to do that. And we also want to make sure that our content is multilingual. So our site actually can be translated into many languages. And we're also partnering with different groups in El Salvador and other areas as well, because we really want to make sure that people can learn about AI, they can learn about Bitcoin, they can learn about blockchain use cases, Ethereum, you name it. I mean, there's DAOs, metaverse. I mean, there's so much content on there. We also have under the Learn side, we have internships. And so we have 4 different interns right now from different colleges.
Oh, tell me more about that. Like we have that we have a big community of students, and I think that's fantastic that you have an internship program.
Yeah, we have students from Canada as well as the United States, and soon even Latin America because of our El Salvador connection. So again, each intern can select different areas that they want to research, from the legal side to the countries to the content. So depending upon what their passion is, they can do a deep dive, and then they can publish on the Blockchain Legal Institute. And we have a lot of professionals who are publishing on our platform as well. So we have a lot of diverse resources that different viewpoints.
No, that's awesome. When are you guys taking on more interns? I know people are going to ask me.
We accept interns all the time. We have standard office hours on a bi-monthly basis. And, again, everyone who's an intern picks a project, and then we monitor them. And so it's an open door. We can always use interns.
You were talking about the need to have like a dedicated place for legal resources, right?
Yeah.
And to have it be broad enough to cover, the entire space, but also in depth enough in those individual areas. A lot has changed, right? Things are changing over the last like 12, 18 months. What do you see as what are the challenges you see if I'm a crypto project, right? Or like what would you advise? What are some of the common pitfalls that you're seeing right now that folks are running into that are easily avoidable?
I don't think anything's easily avoidable. I think I think that when you're dealing with law and when you're dealing with both court cases, and that's the other thing I want to mention, is that BLI is actually doing some legal research as to what our U.S. court system is using as background for some of their learning of the blockchain. I mean, I know that in cases, the plaintiff and defendants will share information, but the judges and those within the courthouse will ask their staff to give them background information. So we're going to be doing a deep dive to find out what are the resources that they're using, how diverse are they, and what do they need? Because we want to make sure that there's enough resources for them to make, I'll say, a fair and equitable decision. But, again, going back to your question about businesses that step into this space, there are so many layers involved with a blockchain business, a crypto business. You have the traditional framework of looking at and being incorporated, but then you have to decide where you're going to be incorporated. Are you a DAO? Are you going to be incorporated or not incorporated? What is the liability? Are you a traditional company, but you might have a token as a project, part of your project? Are you going to be a traditional company and accept cryptocurrency within your payment system? And then how do you account for that? Because let's say that you are a Pizza Hut and you want to accept Bitcoin or crypto, you still have to let your accountants know that you've accepted this, and think about the taxes. So there's many layers. There's nothing that's easy about this because the laws in every state might be different. The federal laws might be different. If you're navigating overseas, that's going to be different. So when you're doing business overseas, you have to, in the EU, there's certain things you have to take into consideration. So no easy answer.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like Europe or recently now the UK. I mean, that's changing sort of almost daily, if not hourly, at this point. So what do you guys have? What do you guys have lined up over like the next between now and the end of the year? What are some of the initiatives that are most important to BLI, or you think are most important to the space? Now that we're in the fall, we've got Bitcoin ETF applications in queue. Everybody's sort of feeling this like build up. Where are you guys focusing it? Is it events? Is it outreach? Where are you guys headed so we can start to look in that direction too?
We have a multi-prong approach, just because we know where we are now and where we want to be in a year. And one of the first major things that we're doing is we're hosting our first digital broadcast, which will be on October 24th. And we have 3 different panels. We have actually the Premier of Bermuda, who's going to be our keynote. And
That's awesome.
it is awesome. So we have the first panel deals with the EU and AI and the laws and how that's impacting, around the world. And then the second panel deals with social good, which is very close to my heart. I really, there's a lot of companies within the blockchain that are focusing on how to solve problems. And that's what I love about our community is we're not just in it for the income and the profit. Individuals are looking at how do we actually help other countries. I initially bought an altcoin, but I have become a Bitcoin advocate and a Bitcoin miner, and I know that Bitcoin is used in different countries. And from that perspective, our fintech community looks at how do we provide economy for those that might not be banked, for those that need to kind of have control over their income, depending upon the political atmosphere that might be in the country or, different situations. So, so social good, the second panel is very close to my heart. The third panel is dealing with the commercial side of supply chain and how does blockchain help with that. And again, it's all about problem solving. So the event is our first major project that the broadcast that we're focusing on. And then for me, the passion area that I have is legal education. I really want to help develop those new lawyers who might want to step into the blockchain world and who might have blockchain type of clients. So that way they know how to service them. As a lawyer, when we go to law school, we're taught you can't know everything. You have to know how to do the research in the law library. Well, the same concept applies to the blockchain community. That's why BLI was created, because again, it's a resource, it's a library. And so the goal is over the next year to really develop it in an in-depth way so it's a premier resource for everyone.
Now, so how would I get access to all of these resources? Is everything online? Do I have to register? Do you guys have tiers? Tell me about sort of the experience of, diving in.
Yeah, no. So we currently have 2 levels that people can kind of enjoy. We have the free subscription, which will give you access to the news feed and the events. And then some of the other parts of the platform, but really it's a subscription based. It's really affordable. And that, from the perspective of subscriptions, there are a lot of APIs that we're going to be uploading and integrating within the system. And so the subscription allows you complete access to everything. And it will also allow you access to private content that we're going to be uploading, as well as discounts on different events and things like that.
I have to ask, is that payable in crypto, or are you guys having a token at some point?
So currently it's fiat, but we do have the ability soon to accept Bitcoin. And yes, we are looking at the crypto side of it. We're kind of integrating this in stages, just as I mentioned before, because of the accounting side of it and the development side. But Bitcoin's going to be the first integration, just because of the fact that we're working with El Salvador and other countries like that. So that will be an easier integration than the altcoin side of it.
No, absolutely. So, I think what you guys are doing is amazing and definitely needed. Like, I can't even emphasize that enough. And I'm really excited that you guys are also going to be working with lawyers as well. Now, what are some of the ways in which other folks can get involved? I know American Crypto Academy and BLI. We're going to work together on a variety of issues and initiatives, but like everyday folks, right? What can they do? First, we got to get follow you guys on X, right? So where can they find you guys online?
Yeah, so they can definitely follow us on Twitter and on LinkedIn, and on our website, bli.tools. You'll be able to go and just click into all of our social media. So that's probably the easiest way for you to find us, because we'll be adding our YouTube and any other site that we have on bli.tools. So that'll probably be the easiest way. We also have a newsletter. So you can, and that's also at the website. So you can subscribe to the newsletter, and we're constantly doing my other hat is Crypto Mom 2. And so through that talk show, we're constantly interviewing people who are resources, and those individuals and their companies are also featured in the BLI newsletter. And so everyone can have access to that information as well.
I've often thought, and I think that there's this sentiment in broader crypto that people are waiting for some sort of like broad legislation.
Yeah.
And I think that's ignorant of how historically things have happened in the United States, right? Things happen from the ground up usually, and it's done through court cases. And I liken it to a little bit of the argument that we had in the late 90s, early, when folks were making phone calls online, and then we had VoIP versus telecom, and what's a data service, what's a public utility, right? And I think that the way in which that was resolved has a lot of parallels to how this will be resolved through a variety of state and local level court cases that little by little pick away at the outstanding legal gaps. And I wanted to know what your thoughts on that was.
I'm concerned about it being resolved in the courts, only because the courts only see a small part of the picture when a lawsuit is brought. And so I am hoping that larger policies can be, focused on and addressed, because one of the concerns that I have, and I love being a lawyer, but one of the concerns I have is the nitpicking that happens and the lack of focus on the creativity that's needed when you're an entrepreneur. I do think that consumers need to be protected, and I do think that entrepreneurs need to work smart and do things that are legal. But so that's why I think that the laws need to be put into place, and that it not be kind of piecemeal by the different court systems, because then it becomes very confusing when you're in one state and one state says, okay, this is the way it should be. Another state says this is, because we're doing business across states.
Right.
So that makes it really confusing when you want to do something and serve a market that's bigger than just one state.
No, absolutely. I mean, we're increasingly, the pace of innovation is faster than the pace of regulation capability, right? Regulatory capability. So it remains to be seen, but we are thankful and happy that we have organizations like BLI and folks like you, Jackie, that are right at the forefront of that. And I can't believe you guys are only how many months old and already taking a leading charge. But it's a vacuum that needed to be filled. I'll tell you that.
It definitely is a vacuum, and like a lot of other entities, just like ACA, you see what needs to happen, and then you kind of create the solution, and then that helps others do what they need to do next steps. So I know from the education side, what you're doing is important, because school systems need to have this type of content. I know as an educator, we're not teaching, we teach about money, we teach about finance just a little bit in the elementary and middle school, and not really all that much in the high school, but we still start to, because of careers. And that's the other thing that I think is important. We need to be leaders in the education space, so that way other countries don't take over what we need to do, which is create. And we can't have the next generation understand what's going on unless we teach it to them. And waiting until it's college I think is too late. I think we need to start younger, just so they have an understanding and the vocabulary.
Right. And that was sort of the other thing too. One of the things I liked about navigating BLI's site is it's not inundated with overly complex legal jargon. Actually, it's very easy to navigate and has enough detail and the resources available, but still sort of in the vernacular of everyday folks or entrepreneurs that understand legalese to a degree, but they're not looking to read summary case judgments and things like that.
The focus really is to raise the question so people can be critical thinkers, because when you are excited to be in an area, you might not be thinking about what are the legal issues that might be impacting me. So again, everyone who is navigating their business or as a consumer, they still probably need to talk to a lawyer in their area that might help them, with certain things. But it's being a better educated consumer. That's what the goal is.
Now, for I happen to know a few professionals like that are either lawyers or work in the legal world that are starting to emerge a bit with a blockchain speciality. You have the find an expert function. How does one that has some legal expertise that also has been in blockchain, how do they become a member expert?
So what happens is when you subscribe, you're actually able to create a profile. And then within that profile, we are going to be featuring different individuals or businesses through the Crypto Mom 2 talk show, which will then get embedded because, again, sometimes it's easier for a CEO to talk conversationally about what the vision of the company is, and that kind of video can then be embedded. But again, we're going to have a list of both companies and individuals that people can use as for business or for just content.
That's fantastic. I'm stoked about your event here on the 24th with the Premier Bermuda.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
It is. And we have a lot of other wonderful speakers that are also have already committed and that are also signing on. I mean, we have Terra Wolf, Carrie Langley, who's, that company is doing a lot of great stuff in the Bitcoin area. We have individuals within the DAO community that are signing on. We have such a variety of people from the Bitcoin space to the Ethereum space, AI. I mean, the AI area is really hot right now. And we have a lot of thought leaders in that as well.
That's fantastic. No, so just as a recap for folks that didn't see it earlier, check out bli.tools. All right, I'm not impressed with a lot of web resources, but I am with this one. Jack, you guys did a great job here. And for those entering, the blockchain digital asset space, whether you're an entrepreneur, advisor, you work for a project, you're thinking about a project, or just to sort of sharpen up, this is sort of where you want to be, right? And I encourage you guys all on the 24th there, and register now, do it before it's too late, all right, to check out the Blockchain Education Summit, all right? And we're going to have, American Crypto Academy is going to be supporting that, right? We've got some fantastic speakers, BLI's fantastic speakers lined up. So make sure you guys check that. And it sort of all starts too with following them on X. And we're going to be tweeting about you guys too, Jackie. So we're really excited to help sort of spread the word because, we all want to have fun, right? Crypto is awesome and it's revolutionary and it's game changing. But at the end of the day, we need to have a legal framework to work within, right? To protect ourselves, right? To protect our interests, to protect our IP, all these creative things that we are building. We want to make sure they're protected, right? We want to make sure that the people participating in them are protected as well.
It's
Am I right, Jackie?
Yeah, no, for sure. It's really important that for all of us who are in this space to be active citizens, to vote, to let your, policymakers know who you are and your interests. Because if they don't understand that the community is large and they don't always think about exactly what the message should be. And we need to make sure that we contribute to that message. The other thing I want to just mention is that for the October 24th event, it's free. So just register. Again, there's no cost to that, because we definitely believe that education is important for everyone around the world, and so we're going to have people from every parts of the globe who will be participating.
Yeah, and no matter where you are, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you want to be a good, global citizen, digital asset citizen, right?
Yeah.
Educate yourself and vote. Educate yourself and get active, right? As Jackie is saying. I tend to think, as a personal opinion, that politicians, particularly here in the United States, fall into a couple categories when it comes to digital assets. Either they don't get it and they're mad about it, or they don't get it, but they know it's something. They do get it and they get it and they're pushing forward with it. And then the last group, which is the worst, they do get it and they are actively fighting it, like Elizabeth Warren. But anyway, that's another thing. But there are folks out there that, like, it's not just education. It's, you need to step up. If you
Yes.
believe in it, you need to say, it's not a matter of you convincing your politician. That's not how the dynamic works. It's you as a voter telling your politician what you want, and collectively as a community, right, get them to get themselves educated. So be very active, and I'm very happy that ACA is a partner and a supporter of Blockchain Legal Institute. We wholeheartedly support the mission, and really, it's the educational angle is so important. At the end of the day, this is a bipartisan issue. It has nothing to do with party affiliation or anything like this. This is a peer-to-peer value exchange,
Yeah.
and bringing in 1 billion people who are unbanked or underbanked into the financial system. It's more of a human right thing.
Yeah.
Quite frankly. And like, everybody's welcome here. And you guys take that approach, and you provided some unbelievable resources. And Jackie, we were thrilled to have you on our AMA today, and for taking the time to talk to our community a little bit more. I'm glad that we were able to sort of like talk about where our alignment is, and we're really happy to have you guys into the foray, and we want to support you in any way that we can.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And then one last thing I just also want to mention is, everyone who's listening, if you have kids, talk to them about what digital assets are.
Totally.
And the other thing is, if you, again, being being a lawyer and also being a single mom, if you don't have a will, you need a will, because digital assets are going to be sitting on the blockchain, and you need to say what you want to do with it. And also, again, share with your families how to access those digital assets, because
that's
again,
a really good point, Jackie.
Yeah.
Thank you for bringing that up, because you guys are all, there's a bunch of parents out there. I'm doing this for my kids, doing this. If you guys don't have that locked up in your will, right, your trust, however you want it, is going to sit there on chain, or poof, your ledger is going to disappear somewhere. All right, so get that stuff straight. Jackie is absolutely right. And I'm glad also on here is your book, Jackie. Jackie's also an author, and I want to give her a plug on that.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. The Bitcoin Cinderella is a lot of fun. It's really the Harry Potter on the blockchain. It's translated into Spanish and English and Creole and soon French. There's many different episodes. The first edition is the Bitcoin Cinderella. The second one is the Bitcoin Cinderella and the Seven Dwarfs, which is about Bitcoin mining. The Bermuda book will be the Bitcoin Cinderella and the Pink Sands Treasure of Bermuda, and that will be out in May. And then the Bitcoin Cinderella and the True Story of Women in Bitcoin will be out in July. I'm interviewing women from the last 13 years who have experienced Bitcoin, and I'm really excited that some of the stories are really funny and charming and enlightening. So it's been a blast writing these books, and I never know where Cinderella's going to go next, and so it's a lot of fun.
That's awesome. Jack, I love the fact that you're an author. As one kind of writer to an established one, it's awesome to see, and I like that you gave that emphasis on your kids, right? I'm as an educator myself, and as an author myself, and as a parent, I think that's super important. And you have to ingrain it into, like, you're not just telling them to geek out on crypto. It's wrapped up into your talk on personal responsibility, right? Financial responsibility, right? If you're giving them an allowance, work digital assets into that equation. And then all of a sudden, when you do it, then it changes their orientation on how they view things. Right. So it's not just they're learning something geeky their parents are teaching them about. This is life skills, and it's all wrapped up into one. And what we've always believed, that digital assets and blockchain is a cross-disciplinary matter. So this fits in well with that conversation if you're a parent.
It is. And the other thing is, we have to teach our kids, just like, we teach them about street safety, and we teach them about online safety. We also have to teach them about digital asset safety. Again, there's a lot of things that we assume that different individuals at different ages know, but that's how scams happen. So it's really important that you have these conversations and think about these things, because kids don't know about it. Some adults don't know about it. And that's why the challenges happen.
Yep, exactly. There's no CEO of Bitcoin to call if you lose your private keys, right? So yeah, absolutely right. Well, Jackie, I've sort of been reading off some questions that we got from the audience just in the course of the conversation. So I think we covered a great deal today. I'm thrilled that you guys were on. We're really happy to help support the initiatives you guys have, and especially with the events. For those of you, once again, that event is free, October 24th. All right, go check it out. It's on Eventbrite. We'll make sure we got that link up, and make sure you guys follow BLI on X and LinkedIn. And we can't wait to have you guys again.
I appreciate being here. And likewise, I love to have you on Crypto Mom too.
All right. I will take you up on that. Totally. We'll mark it on the calendars. Well, thank
you very
much, everybody, for another edition of the American Crypto Academy AMAs. We can't wait to come back to you. We'll hit you up with our next guest. We're looking forward to either next Tuesday or the one after, but we'll keep you guys posted on X. Jackie and everybody at BLI, the Blockchain Legal Institute, thank you so much. And we'll catch you guys on our next episode. Thanks.
Have a great one, guys.